Yes, Kirsty, let's start with Rishi Sunak. Well, so far at least, he's made no new policy pledges to tackle the cost of living crisis, saying that his number one priority is to bear down on inflation. But it's important to recognise that Sunak did take significant action as Chancellor on this front. In his May support package, Sunak increased the grants to households facing large energy bill hikes, and they were geared towards low-income families. The least well-off households are on the left of this chart and the most well-off are on the right. The pink bars show the impact of fuel bills on households' incomes, and then the blue bars show the total support. The government was then estimated by the Resolution Foundation to be offsetting 82% of the incoming energy price rise, rising to 93% for poorer households. This was widely praised at the time as a response which averted financial disaster for the least well-off. And this is the policy baseline which the next PM would inherit. The problem is that the energy situation has deteriorated since May, when bills were projected by Ofcom to peak at £2,800 in October. Some estimates now suggest bills will go as high as £3,200 in the autumn, meaning there will be pressure on the next PM to do more. So would Sunak do more to help households? If he would, some would argue he ought to outline what. If not, some might conclude that's a potentially dangerous stance, given the deteriorating economic outlook. And what's Liz Truss offering in support for households? Well, she's promised a temporary moratorium on so-called green energy levies, also known as environmental and social obligation costs, which are applied to people's domestic energy bills. How much would this help? An average energy customer under the default price cap is currently paying £1,971 per year. Of this, £153, around 8%, is environmental and social obligation costs. So this is the rough size of the support Truss is proposing to give to households. Though it's important to note that the proceeds of green levies don't only pay for legacy wind turbine subsidies. They also fund, among other things, the Warm Homes discount and other things that would very likely have to be funded from general taxation, if not through bills. Liz Truss has also said she would reverse the national insurance rise imposed by the government from April. This would arguably be a return to the letter of the 2019 Tory manifesto, which promised not to raise the rates of income tax, VAT or national insurance. Such a move would put money back in people's pockets, perhaps £13 billion a year. Yet, as this distributional chart from the Resolution Foundation indicates, again with the least well-off on the left and the most well-off on the right, most of the gains would go to the richest half of the population. For those in the bottom quarter, the financial gain is around £60 a year. For those in the top quarter, it's £1,187. And some economists feel such broad-based tax cuts do risk adding to inflationary pressure, especially as Truss has indicated she would fund it by allowing borrowing to increase. Although, as mentioned, the absence of any further cost of living support from Sunak arguably has its economic risks too. But the danger for the Truss plan is it could prompt the Bank of England to raise interest rates more rapidly than otherwise, which could leave families no better off in the face of the cost of living crisis. Kirsty.